On October 1st, 2007, under the leadership of Mayor Lois Frankel, the City of West Palm Beach Commissioners voted by 3-2 to enact Ordinance Number 4069-07. In its effort to emulate Palm Beach, the City of West Palm Beach passed a law that made it illegal to feed the homeless.
What's funny is that there have been several times when we've been questioned in an accusatory type of fashion if we bus people down here, if we ship the homeless in so that we can have more homeless people to feed. The first time that I was ever asked that was actually at the commission hearing when I got up and spoke against the ordinance. It took me a second to sort of understand, like, what are you asking me? Are you implying that, the homeless are here because we bring them here, It just doesn't make sense, This is where the homeless are, I mean, people are in need. We go to where they are.
What they've done is they haven't made the homeless person the criminal. They've made you giving them a sandwich the criminal. You can get arrested, thrown in jail, or fined $500 because you, out of the goodness of your heart, decided to feed somebody.
Well, just to show you how bankrupt that policy is, even her own police force didn't want to enforce the law. They were so humiliated and embarrassed, they did not want to be the one to enforce that law. So we had an activity where we told the city defiantly, we're violating the ordinance, we're feeding homeless people. It was after the ordinance was enacted. So we anticipated somebody was going to get arrested. At least we were hoping so, because we would have had a chance to challenge this ordinance. And the police were right there and they didn't arrest anybody. Because I commend the police. They realized this is such an immoral ordinance. I don't want to be the one to go on the line to make that arrest because this is just totally wrong. And so they were there, they watched us, we offered them some food, but I guess they weren't hungry, and they didn't make any arrests.
And I would love to set up a feeding for them. They really need it.
Then you should get on that.
But how about in front of your place?
That wouldn't even work because the
How
place.
about somewhere?
The
Why don't
reason
you
this
offer
place
something
works
up?
is because this is downtown.
Why
Downtown
don't you
areas
offer
are the
something?
centers.
This isn't your house.
This is
I know, but
the
why don't you
center
offer
of
something?
What this lady doesn't like,
Okay.
what the county doesn't like, and the
Okay,
city
let me
doesn't like, is that the
understand.
homeless
Okay,
are now
what is-
becoming visible in a public park, and they want them invisible. And fortunately, the Constitution says that people have the right of association.
For free. There's a church that offered their hall. I know you're non-secular. If you could go 2 blocks away and that happened.
During shooting, I really wanted to understand why so many residents of West Palm Beach had such disdain for the homeless. The overwhelming response I kept hearing was that the poor were poor because they were just lazy and didn't want to work.
The view comes out of the American myth, which says if you work hard, you can prosper. So the other side of that coin is if you're not prospering, it must mean you're not working hard. It's a useful myth, I'd say, because it actually sets a very high goal for the society. We should strive for a society in which everyone who works hard can prosper. But the judgmental side that condemns people for failing to prosper is often unfair, because in my experience, the factors that contributed to people's poverty among people I spent 5 years interviewing were very complicated.
Why don't you ask some of the homeless people what they do?
I'm sure they can attest
to the fact that they cause more damage.
That area,
Homeless
people lived in that area
don't live
before the big condominiums and other redevelopment took place. So now we push them out, and now we want them to stay out. This is a classic case of really trying to obfuscate the real reasons why they're doing this. It is to try to keep the homeless people in a very confined area, and hopefully someday they'll leave, they'll disappear.